So, how do we meet our pupils in a screen? Hopefully they'll pay a bit more attention. First thing I want to suggest before we get too into it is that if you want to meet your children in a screen, that you don't meet too many at a time. I would say groups of somewhere between sort of 5 maybe to 8 is probably the maximum you can handle, and possibly even less than that. The app that we're going to suggest that you use is Google Meet, and you click up here when you go into your Google Drive, you go onto the waffle over there, and then you're going to go to Meet, and you're going to click on there, and you get this screen. So the first thing that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to join or start a meeting. If someone else has initiated the meeting, you'll be able to click in a code. On the other hand, if somebody else has sent you an email, then you can usually just click on the link, but you're going to start this meeting. So you click there, and then leave this completely blank. Don't try nicknames, don't try to be clever, because the minute you have someone who's not on the PEPS network, it lands up being a problem, which can be a situation if the children are at home. Then you just press continue. And then the meeting will be ready. It will have a PIN code over there, and you can just press join now. Even though you set it up, you say you're going to join the meeting, and then it's going to take you in. You've now got this PIN code over here. You can either share this PIN code using my homework, or it might be easier to send emails to the people by just saying add people and then adding those emails in. Whichever one is going to work best. Now, the problem now with sharing together, with everyone having to be there in a synchronous way, in other words, all at the same time, is that it's got to be with an appointment time. So everyone has to be ready to go at the time that you're going to have the meeting. So it is a little bit trickier than just sharing links with the pupils. And now, if, let's say a bit later, you want to add somebody in the meeting, you can always go to the meeting details, and you'd be able to easily get that PIN code again. And you could also copy the joining info and put it onto my homework if you needed to. Looking along the rest of the ribbon, you have, you can obviously put the phone down. You can fiddle with your mic and your video settings. If you turn the mic, you might want to ask the children to turn their mics off. But doing your full presentation using Google Meets is going to be heavy on data, and it's going to be a bit chaotic. So probably if they are coming in, they should have their mic and their video on. If we go up to the 3 little dots up at the top, you the 3 little dots at the top do very little. I'm talking about the 3 little dots at the bottom. You will find that they give you some things. You can change your layout. You can make it a full screen. You can turn on captions, which is quite cute. There's also a sign down here to turn on captions. And then you actually get subtitles coming up. And you can see where the children can speak clearly or not. And then the other thing that you can do is if you click on this button over here, you can open up a typing chat window. So it kind of like sets up a little WhatsApp screen for you. So you would get this, and then you just type your messages in there, and everyone can type messages, and then you would have like a WhatsApp conversation happening over there. I spoke about the turn on captions a little bit earlier, where you can say, where you would get subtitles, for want of a better word, over there. Present now, it seems like it's awfully convenient, because now you can do a presentation, they're all in the classroom, and you can discuss it. I find it limiting, but you might not, because once you go into presentation mode, you can either, you have to set up the window first, so let's go with that. You present a window. Your entire screen, I found, was very tricky. It didn't seem to work nicely for me. Maybe you'll find it easier, but you can go for a window, And then whatever else is open on your computer, you can then just click on the window that you'd like to share with everybody. So let's say a PowerPoint presentation, and it's open. Now, over here, it tells you you are presenting to everyone. You can't see your presentation, but if there were people in the classroom, you'd be able to see their faces. So that's a bit of a problem, because you can't see what you're presenting at the same time as the people. And now if you go to the presentation, which you have to click up here to go to your presentation, you can see your presentation, but you can't see the people. It says you're presenting to everyone. And so you kind of have to go on faith that they're all paying attention to you. And having been on the other side of this, they're not paying attention all of the time, because you can't even see their faces. So you can see your presentation, but you can't see the people. Apparently, if you put an HDMI cable onto your TV, you'd be able to see both. Maybe we'll get to a point where that becomes worthwhile. But I don't know if we're doing half a week or a week of this, whether it's going to be worth the trouble. So now that was something completely different. Remember that we're only going to grow if we're willing to feel awkward, and we will make mistakes, and we're not going to do it perfectly straight away, because we're trying something new. But hopefully we get better at it, and we learn some new skills, and we get involved in things. You may only want to use Meets to be able to have appointments with pupils who want some assistance. Perhaps others are muddling along just fine with videos and quizzes and links and ideas and a project that they're working on. I do think that we are going to all have to meet with our pupils some of the time, and we are going to have to start setting up some appointments, because they need to feel that we are human presences as well, and they need to have a conversation with us. During this time, as we lead up to actually having to teach online, stay blessed and relaxed. We're allowed to do some things. Quite a few things did get cancelled. We're still allowed to go outdoors, but not very far, and don't go jogging, and certainly don't take your dog with you. But there is some hope, and we can embrace it. And we can also just find some quiet time. I read a really, really interesting quote by Saint Romuald, who was the founder of the Camaldolese order of monks. And he said that we should sit in your cell as if in paradise.